Hello, everybody, and welcome to session number 2 of Mass Effect Revolution. This is season 2 of my tabletop campaign, or the sequel to season 1, which was Mass Effect Collision. We just had our session 1, well, as of this recording, a couple weeks ago, so we got to get to know the characters a little bit with their origin stories. So today's warm-up question, just because I'm curious, now that we've had our first session out of character, which of the other PCs are you most excited about interacting with and why, based on what you've seen from their characters so far? And which of the NPCs are you most interested in interacting with and why? And they don't necessarily have to be NPCs that you've already seen physically on the train. It could be any NPC that's been introduced so far.
My answer is a little bit boring, but I'm I'm in terms of who I want to interact with most. Even though we've already met a few, I feel like for me personally, any interaction with any of the characters is going to be a fun time. Um, Partly because our cast is they're very outgoing personalities. And so it'll be to see if those personalities clash, if they shape it to one bigger mosaic of really awesome, or not. And I feel like that's my response. Partly because we need to get the plot threads all up and ready with the characters and such before I can make like my before I can start picking favorites.
Okay. How about NPCs?
I know we did the hashtag dip last week. I mean, the first session, but
Yes.
hmm, I'm. I think the same response with the PCs for the NPCs, but more along the lines of besides knowing Kovalin and such, I feel like I'm gonna wait a little bit when the interaction starts to pick favorites and such.
It's less about favorites and more about maybe there's an NPC you want to know more about.
Yeah, that's what.
You know
That's
what I'm
what.
saying?
Yeah, it's not really favorites. That's the word that came up. It's just I'm waiting for more.
Well, I've already interacted with Gimmick, in a way, I guess. Uh, Vito was actually the only person I think on this, and the only PC I've not met in character at some stage in my life. So I'm looking forward to that, but I'm also looking forward to seeing what happens when Dia discovers that the person who saved her life way back when is actually on the train with her, and I'm genuinely excited for seeing how Nathan, Gimmick, Dia, and Vito all become this group, this ragtag group of misfits, essentially. That'll be interesting, and I really, really want to see how everyone kind of comes to terms with the fact that Gimmick is essentially illegal. Like his existence in and of itself is breaking the law. So, other than Vito, everyone here really doesn't know that. So that'll be interesting. And when it comes to NPCs, probably fairly open arms, up in the mix about that one. I don't really have like Pip is cute, like everyone just kind of seems to be, fairly outgoing and interesting. So Nathan is just like, I'm cool with talking to anyone, and I'm basically the same with that. I don't mind who I'm talking to as long as they seem interesting. So they all seem
Okay.
interesting. So I'll go
All
for
right.
anything.
Astra, can you give us a more specific answer?
So
Hey, you need to stop making your NPC so good. It's your problem.
Yeah, it's true.
yeah, I thought about that for a moment, and I think because in the last session we got to see barely the same amount of all the characters, but we were talking in Discord channel and such about the characters, and I got to know a bit more about Vito and Nathan, but there are a lot more things that I don't know about Dia, so I'm interested to get to know Dia also a bit more of how it grew up from the incident of the Reaper Wars and such. So yeah, I want to get to know how how it changed from that. But the singing was great. So that's the PC, and the NPC. I'm interested in Freya and also Amia. Mainly because we got to see like a small part of them. The other characters, like I think, either are a mystery, like Jules, and they have like parts of them that we didn't get to see, but I feel like we may get to see them. But for some reason, yeah, Freya and Amia are the ones that that call me like I want to know more about them.
I'd say as for the NPC, I'm very interested in interacting with Jalan Laurel again, because it's completely different from what I had imagined their I'd say their relationship to be like. So yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see those changes and how I can adapt to that. And as for a PC, I'd say, like, character-wise, it's super interesting to imagine how Vito will interact with Dia, simply because they're, in a way, they're kind of opposites. Like, Vito's the quiet and, well, maybe a little into adventure, but he's the quiet and bookish type, and you've got Dia that's all over the place, and it's going to be interesting to see those differences.
All right, so let us get back to the thick of things. So you are on board the Lightning Rail, which is essentially a space train. And once again, it is New Year's Eve, and you all are enjoying yourselves in style. The train just left the station, so we are in motion. And why don't we, just because we have a lot of activity already going on in that side of the train, why don't we go ahead and actually start with the poker club over in the poker car. So, just to reiterate, we have Nathan and Kowalin, the Justicar Volus, as well as Shias Lazine, which is a elderly female Solarian who, you know, maybe you don't know very much about her yet. Obviously, we have Pip, who is a Ralloy, a shiny race that we're sort of fleshing out in this campaign, and then Gimmick. So they're in the middle of their card game, and they're having, like, you know, your general chatter while they're playing cards. What's happening with Gimmick, just out of curiosity, while this is all going on?
So last session I think I rolled the 20 in insight or something like that. But I was thinking about that, and I think that even though he like can't see what the other players how the other players feel about their hands with the faces and such, because I think Alan said that he wanted normal to play in normal with gimmicks, so it would be like even in match game, so some hands will be gimmick will be losing, or some
Okay.
But
so Gimmick is actually gonna sort of let them win a little bit.
no, I think that because it's also a game of chance in a sense. Sometimes you get a good hand and you win, and sometimes you have to like fake your way into winning.
Okay.
But yeah, I think it would still maybe be evenly matched. But I also was thinking that as the game goes on, like the avatar of Gimmick, the appearance of him, it would change. Like you would get like poker glasses, like sunglasses, and it will. Like the hologram will be start changing and like get a bow tie as he was winning like in a game when you level up, like you get the boons of winning.
Okay. Cool. So, okay, so you're winning a few hands. You're gaining about what did you roll for your was it deception? What was it that you rolled that you got the 20 on?
Yeah, on insight.
On insight?
Yeah,
you got a 20?
I rolled not a 20, but a 22 it was.
Ah, okay. So we're gonna say I mean, you did a crit. So
yeah.
I'm gonna say that you, at this point in the game, you've won 500 credits.
Oh no!
So
we say that the winnings were going to
charity. Yeah, Nathan said he.
That's fine.
With Gimmick in that heat.
That's fine. You've won 500 credits for the charity.
Yeah.
And remind me what the charity is again. Was the charity was for?
I was gonna Nathan was actually gonna ask Pip if she had a charity.
She actually perks up a little bit and she says, "Me, charity? Oh, well,
I mean, it is your VI, so obviously it's fair you choose.
Well, that's very nice of you. I'd have to think about that. There's many different choices of different charities. There's a fund that I think that the Raloi have been trying to do back in our homeworld to help do a bit of rebuilding since the war. Many of the much of the planet got a little bit of collateral damage, even though we weren't directly attacked. So perhaps towards there?
Sure, that's what you want.
Well, Gimika, thank you very much for helping to fund the rebuilding of my home planet.
Oh, you like it? Oh, yeah, no problem.
She's gonna smile and she'll basically continue watching. And one thing that you're gonna notice about Pip, half the time, of course, she's gonna be very engaged in the game. The other half, she'll get a little distracted. So the thing about Pip is that I think you'll notice that it's not that she doesn't care about the game that you guys are playing, but she does have a tendency to lose her, she tends to get distracted relatively easily. And you'll see her pull out what looks like one of those wind-up toys, like little mechanical wind-up toys that kids might end up playing with. And it's actually a wind-up Elcor. And she's over there at the other side of the table, and she's not trying to distract anyone else. She's just entertaining herself. So she has this wind-up Elcor, and its little feet start walking across the table. And every now and then this small cannon actually pops out from his back, and then shoots out little sparks from the cannon, and then it retracts back into the back of the Elcor. Because as you know, during wartime, the Elcor actually do carry cannons on their backs, and that's one of the main ways that they are in combat. But this is probably the first time you've actually seen something like this in a cute way, an adorable way.
Nathan is just kind of looking at it like, okay, that's surprising, but intriguing and adorable. So I'm not going to say a thing about it.
Roll a history check, and for Gimmick, roll a, we'll say engineering or science, whichever one is higher for you.
I've got a big fat 0 in history, so this is going to be fun.
Okay.
9.
9? Okay.
I rolled in natural 20 again at 23.
Wow. Okay. So, all right. So, Gimmick, you're taking in what you're seeing from this little mechanical toy, and I'm gonna say that you can tell that the material that this toy is made of is not a material that you've ever cataloged back on Earth. So this is a material that is not native to Earth as far as you know, and you're just observing the properties even further, and it looks like this thing has been carved in a way. So it almost looks like it's made of wood, but it has very metallic-like properties. So like it's almost like a tin, half wood kind of thing. The craftsmanship is actually very good. The detail is intricate. A lot of the like wrinkles and folds that an Elcor naturally has. You know, whoever did it clearly knew what they were doing. Mechanically, you're not completely sure how the sparks happen, but you actually would, if you were to guess at the quality of this toy, even though it's relatively simple, like it's not, you know, a video game or anything like that, it's quite impressive how this was made.
I would say that Gimmick even though I guess Gimmick was dealing with Pip for a while, I don't know how much time was Gimmick with Pip before after it was activated.
You spend time with Pip mostly trying to get you into a drone body. So I think that to specify, even though Pip is easily distracted, when she has a project, she's very focused. When she has a specific thing that she's trying to build or make, that she actually is focused and honed in. But if she's just like, you know, hanging out and left to her own devices, this is when she gets distracted very easily. So, because she gets very focused, I don't think that you would have had an opportunity to learn much about her during this time. Because she is actually relatively quiet while she's working on something. And maybe you can gather that that's because she's so easily distracted otherwise. The opposite happens when she actually has a task specifically at hand. She's not as talkative. So I think your knowledge of Pip is just as good as anybody else at the table at the moment.
Well, in that case, Gimmick would be like we'll start to lose interest in the game also, and start the toy back over the table, and yeah, I'll be like, oh, he's shooting, yeah, and move its attention toward the toy. And
are you actually saying that out loud?
Yeah, like reacting to the things that the toy does, like shooting. When it shoots, it gets happy, and yeah.
Roll an insight.
Okay.
Gimmick.
Oh boy.
It's a 12.
Okay, so Pip looks towards your direction, and initially she smiles at your comment, but then she looks towards your direction, and then her face changes slightly. Specifically at your reaction, and she starts saying, "Oh," she says, "Gimmick, your reaction to this, you're copying a reaction that you saw on the Holo video earlier, right? You know, something that we organics called excitement or interest."
Oh, Yeah, it's a strategy to bluff and poker. Yeah, in spade poker. Yeah.
Space poker.
You probably wouldn't tell from the Volus, but Shias Lazine glances towards Gimmick's direction a little bit, and she's got the cards in her hand, and she's sort of like, I don't know. It sounds like gears are turning a little bit in her head, but she hasn't said anything so far.
Okay.
But you can see that she started to get a little bit more interested in Gimmick all of a sudden.
Oh.
So after the next hand, Nathan will go, alright, I've had enough of poker for the night. I think I'm going to go get a drink. Pip, you want something?
Pip right now is still distracted by the mechanical toy, so she actually doesn't respond. It almost like she didn't even hear what you said.
Oh.
He will kind of just sit there for a second and then just sort of shrug, like, if she wants.
Okay.
And then he'll just kind of stand up and walk around the table and give her a bit of shake on the shoulder and say, "Hey, Pip."
Pip almost falls off off her chair, and she says, "Oh! Did Gimmick win again?"
Yeah, I think so. But anyway, I was gonna go get a drink. Do you want a drink or anything?
Oh, I'm a bit of a lightweight. Do you think they might have anything there that's, not as strong?
I'll get you. I know what to get you. I'll get you a cocktail.
A cocktail. That sounds lovely. Thank you. Thank you, Nathan.
You're welcome. I'll be back with it in a minute, and he will go looking for the bar.
All right, you will be heading to the bar. Meanwhile, Mikhail.
Me.
So Dia Irons is giving her performance, and you were able to recover from your spill relatively easily. Several of the girls will comfort you and say, "Dia, you are so good. I completely gasped the moment you fell, but obviously it was all part of the show, right, girls? Oh yes, obviously."
Obviously. I'm just that skilled of a performer. I'm gonna get something to drink, ladies. Just excuse me.
Of course. So, as Dia heads over to the bar, I'm going to say that with Vito, he sees Jules. When we last saw Vito, he seemed extremely anxious / embarrassed, or however you want to interpret that after seeing Jules. So he's going to actually excuse himself to go to the bathroom. And the bathroom, I think the closest one is down towards the back of the car here. So I don't know if you can see my pinging, but this is where the restrooms are. So while Dia was chatting with the girls, there's a lot of people in this car, more than what I'm showing on the screen, but Vito will cut his way through that car and just hang out in the bathroom, at least for the time being, while Dia makes her way over to the bar.
Oh.
So, Dia, we're gonna say that Nathan will get to the bar roughly at the same time that Dia arrives. Maybe not exactly, but you will see sitting. So there's other people who are just lounging around, having a great time. There's like beverages, snacks. There's like a wait staff. There's people like getting people's orders, and they have, little finger foods, and people have glasses of champagne and things of that nature. But once again, there is a male Turian sitting by himself at the bar, as well as a Drell, very handsomely dressed Drell, and the bartender is actually a female Vorcha with relatively simple clothing, but for a Vorcha, there's something, relatively classy about her, if you can call Vorcha classy, but I will leave that up to you, how you want to interpret that.
So Dia sits on the chair, crosses her legs, and then looks at the Vorcha bartender, and she's like, "Girl, is there any way that entertainers can get a free drink, maybe, please?"
The Vorcha looks towards your direction, and she says, "Well, it depends." She says, "How would you make it worth my while?"
Ooh, in what way?
She looks to the other clients, and she sort of lowers her voice because she doesn't want to look unprofessional. But she looks at your outfit. Could you describe the dress that you're wearing right now?
I feel like it won't be a dress. It's going to be like a teal-looking bodysuit at this point.
Okay.
Maybe she had like when she had her slip, she just foregoed everything, and now she's just in her like a sort of like those once piece swimsuit sort of deal. It's sort of like that. It's teal with like this like sort of like BDSM like design to it. You got like the little whip at her side. She has like the little mask on, and it's like teal with the blues and yeah.
Is she wearing any jewelry at all?
Yes, a ring on her hands.
Okay, just a ring and nothing else. No necklaces, no earrings. Okay.
Doesn't have the money for it.
What kind of ring is it? Just out of curiosity.
Just a simple, like, a very well made fake diamond ring. It's like one of those fake ones that look like the real thing, but it's not quite. And she sort of has that. At a glance, it looks really good, but if you paid closer attention to it, you'd notice that it was like handmade, and that the material is fake. But
okay,
yeah,
it doesn't seem like the Vorcha realizes that it's fake. So when the Vorcha leans in and lowers her voice a little bit, she glances over at the ring on your finger, and she says, "If you can hook me up with whoever you got that ring, maybe even a discount. It's very pretty," she says.
Dia thinks inwardly, this stupid bitch! And outwardly, she has like a faint smile on, she's being all nice and whatever, and she says, "You know what? I'll hand you this ring. You can put it on if you like. And if you pass me your phone number, I can maybe get you a few rings on the house. If you can hand me a drink, that is."
Few rings, multiple.
Multiple.
She looks a little impressed and says, "Wow. I knew that there was a lot of very well-established people on this train. I didn't realize that I was in the presence of someone who was so wealthy."
Not wealthy, I'd say, but in demand with most men around here.
Just men? She asks, curiously.
Not just men.
She, if you are you going to offer to let her try the ring on?
Yep, I'll let her try it on.
She'll look at it carefully and she'll try it on, and so this Vorcha, like I said, she's very simply dressed. She doesn't have any jewelry at all, and she puts it on and she looks at it. She says, "I've never actually worn anything this beautiful before."
Well, girl, we're gonna fix that real nice, aren't we?
She says, "Does this ring have any significance to you?"
Nah, not really. I can get more of those.
I suppose when you are as high in demand as you say, you can afford to have multiple things to enhance yourself.
Yes. That's true. So, can I get that vodka, please?
Why not? She says. She takes off the ring and she places it back on the counter in front of you.
You can keep it, my dear. You can keep the ring.
She looks at it, and you can tell that she is debating whether or not she should or shouldn't accept the ring. But eventually, it looks like she's not gonna, look a gift at a horse's. Look a gift in a horse's mouth?
Look a gift horse in the mouth.
Look a gift horse. Thank you. Look a gift horse in the mouth. I never was able to figure out that saying, and she will say, "Thank you. That's very kind of you. If that's the case, you can have as many drinks from here tonight as you'd like."
Oh, girl, I'm gonna get fucking hammered. Bring him on!
She asks, let me see if I can get something special for you. So she's going to start shaking up what the Turian version of a mint julep would be. It's very refreshing. It has like a semi-icy cold tingle as it goes down your throat. It's probably a drink that you've never had before, but I'll say it's pretty pleasant. And she mixes the drink pretty well. You can see that as she's moving around she's got a lot of finesse when it comes to, we're talking like almost Coyote Ugly style.
Oh, I bet.
Flipping things and all that good stuff. She's good at what she does. And, she places the glass in front of you, and it actually mists a little bit, like with a little bit of a chill.
Dia takes it, and she's like, and she looks at the Vorcha, and she says, I guess she would say, "Thank you, dear," and she just gulps it all down in one go.
What did you say your name was? She says as she's wiping the counter in front of you.
Dia just tilts her head back as she just gulps down the entire drink, smacks it on the table, looks the Vorcha in the eye and says, "Dia Irons, baby. You better remember that name."
Dia Irons. I like that. How long have you been... I guess, doing whatever it is you've been doing for a living to earn the status that you have?
Well, a few years and a little bit of talent. It goes a long way in this industry.
She says, "Must be really nice. What exactly do you do? Are you one of those high rollers who sells starships? Are you world famous gambler?" There's a lot of those types around here. I was just wondering what you are. You're getting the idea that this Vorcha is not the smartest crayon. She's nice, but she's not the smartest crayon in the bunch. So first of all, it doesn't seem like she doesn't realize that you are a drag queen. She just thinks you're like high society. Here, like, just take whatever rings. So she seems to be in awe. Yeah, she seems to be in awe of you, and she seems to be genuinely interested. "Oh yeah, what do you do for a living that, you can just throw all these rings around like it's nobody's business?"
At this point, and really, Dia is thinking along the lines of what to say. So she looks at the woman, and Dia Irons takes the little whip by her side, puts it around on her face like this, and gives it a little lick, and puts it back down to the waist, ties it back on. She says, "Make a guess."
She says, "Oh, you're one of those types. Must be very high in demand."
Apparently, the richer you get, the kinkier you become.
Turians, I've always admired them for being so... They always seem to be good at everything they do.
Guess so.
Definitely must be really nice, being born into such a highly regarded situation.
Dia just looks down a bit, losing a little bit of her energy, and she's like, just hand me another one of that drink you just gave me. Tasted really good.
You got it, Dia, she says, and she's going to go back and mix another drink. Meanwhile, Nathan, we're going to say that you're going to arrive at the bar at this point, and you'll see the two Turians, one female, one male. They don't seem to be together, though. And you'll see the Drell enjoying his drink as well on the other side.
Okay, so is there smoking allowed on this train? Or is there a smoking area?
There is a smoking area. You don't know where it is, but you've heard somebody mentioning that there's a smoking area on this train, but it's not in here.
Okay, that's cool. I just wanted to know. Nathan will pull himself up at the bar, probably next to this Turian, to the male Turian.
Sure.
And just give him a smile and say, hey, how you doing?
He turns to your direction and nods and says, I'm doing quite well. Happy New Year.
Same to you. What are you drinking?
He responds with, I'm gonna say whatever the Turian version of Scotch is.
Ooh, nice.
So
nice.
he'll say it, and it's on the rocks right now. So he'll turn to you and he'll say, you look kind of familiar.
He just gives him a big old smile and says, I get that a lot.
He's thinking again. Let me guess. A type of people that we have on this train? I'm thinking probably not an art collector. No offense.
Well, I enjoy a bit of art, but I wouldn't consider myself a collector, no.
He's measuring you up and down. You definitely take care of yourself physically, so possibly someone who...
Well, thanks for noticing.
He continues thinking for a moment. Probably not a glorified construction worker. That doesn't sound right. Perhaps someone in the entertainment industry. Are you I feel like I might have seen you in a movie or something. Wait, are you that guy that was on Fleet and Flotilla 4?
I wish. No, but I did actually audition for that part. If that counts for anything.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Well, I'm sorry that you didn't get it.
Is it because you didn't think they did very well, or you think I'd do better? That's the question right now.
I wasn't going to presume anything necessarily, just that I'm sorry that you tried out and didn't quite make it. Why do you think you didn't make it in?
Probably because I'm too young for that part. It'd have to dye my hair a bit grey. I'm a bit too young for that kind of. They got an older actor to do it, and I can understand that. I've got a long career ahead of me.
So, if you didn't end up into show business, what did you end up doing?
You've given up guessing, have you, sir?
Well, I wasn't sure if I would. I thought perhaps an escort of some sort, but I didn't know if that would offend you.
I've been called worse on a daily basis. Plus, for you, I don't think I need to charge anything.
Suddenly he looks a little flattered, but he says, "Oh no, I wasn't trying to give you the wrong idea. I'm actually married."
Oh, that's very nice. That's very nice. I hope you two are happy.
We are, very much so.
Excellent.
Wondering how he's doing in the bathroom right now. He says, glancing towards the other side of the train.
Well, hopefully he'll be back soon. How about I buy you a drink? If you figure out who I am.
He's gonna continue thinking a little bit more. Let me go back to Gimmick on the other side of the train. So, the group at the table are gonna continue, playing a few more rounds of cards. And Shias Lazine, she's going to turn towards Gimmick and says, "So, Gimmick, what did you say exactly was your purpose, your function?"
Well, my name stands for gaming, interactive, something. So yeah, I was built for playing games.
She nods a little bit, and she says, "What's your favorite game that you've made so far?"
Well, this is my first game I played, but yes.
When you finish responding, Koalan will go. He says, "Favorites. The eyes can't have favorite games." And Shias Lazine looks slightly annoyed at Koalan's response. Almost roll an insight.
Let's see. I can roll like 3 20s in a roll, right?
You can do it. You can do it.
No,
That's close enough to a 20.
What is it?
14.
14. Okay. So, Gimmick, you gather that you just dodged a bullet there because Shias Lazine definitely tried to set you up with that question. Because had you responded with anything else other than what you said, like, "Oh yeah, my favorite game is this," then that would have definitely threw up some red flags. So, good on you.
Yeah.
It was, good on you. But yes, so your insight is that Shias looked a little annoyed that Koalan sort of kind of diffused the trap she was trying to spring on you.
Oh, also kind of exposed her intent. Oh.
Yeah, you have a feeling that Shias, she's probably somebody to watch out for, not necessarily because as in this is she's smart. If you're not careful, she might figure something out, is what I'm saying. So
The question would be if it's good, if she finds out, or if it's bad.
yeah, that's true. You don't know. Koalan will start chatting a bit and says, "That guy seemed like a pretty decent fellow." Shias Lazine kind of turns towards the area where Nathan just left, and Shias will say, "Well, he's an athlete. He's a public figure. He has to carry himself and present himself in a certain way when he's out in public." And you'll hear him go, "Are you saying it's all an act?" Shia says, "Not necessarily. All I'm saying is that not everyone is how they are perceived to be." The Justicar Volus kind of pauses for a little bit. "That's very true. I find a lot of people who pretend to be things that they're not." Says the Volus Justicar, Shias Lazine. Pip sort of looks up at that a little bit, but she doesn't say anything, as if she's just kind of hanging out to see how this all plays out. I don't know what Gimmick is doing.
Oh well, Gimmick would be, "Oh well, Nathan is a human.
He says, very good, Gimmick. Yes, Nathan is a human. And a human who, at least back in the day, was an alright sort. I don't know how he is right now, but back in the day, he helped a lot of people during the war, as young of an age as he was at the time. He says, yes, the Reaper conflict.
Oh.
I guess you're not, you're still new to all of this. You wouldn't necessarily know about this war.
Well, I only have the data that is inside my database. But can I ask a question?
The Volus says, sure, why not?
What's a Reaper?
Shias sort of laughs a little bit. What a refreshing question. So, she explains, Reapers, several years ago, these Reapers are these big, large, mechanized, I suppose you could call them bug-looking things. They apparently were out to exterminate all of the galaxy of all of its living things. Not a very pleasant thing, although I'm sure it was very lucrative for some people.
Does it look like this? And it will show a picture of the Green Reaper.
The koala looks at the image of the Green Reaper and says, not exactly. More bug-like.
Oh.
Almost like a human cockroach or something.
Oh. Okay, thank you.
Why do you ask?
Why did I ask?
Yes, why did you ask? Chaya says it doesn't sound like anything specifically game-related.
Oh, boy.
Jimmy slowly turns toward Pip.
Pip says, before we got here, I was introducing strategic war games, like space chess, which I was telling Gimmick originates from war times. And I'm sure he was just asking to do some research on war games, strategic war games, she says, with a smile.
Excellent save, Pip. Excellent save.
Yeah.
Shias turns and says, yes, strategic war games. I love those kinds of things. You know, trying to outmaneuver, outsmart your opponent, trying to be one step ahead of them, so that when they least expect it, she drops her cards down and just shows like a winning hand. Checkmate. Oh, and at that point the Volus like drops his cards. You win again. And Shias will take the winnings. Thank you, dear. Pip is going to look around and says, did you, I think I am going to take a look around the rest of the train. I heard that there might be some places to dance. If you're looking for games, Shai Slazine said, I recommend going upstairs. There's a huge game hall over there. Maybe your VI might be interested in doing more research. Game room? I didn't know there was a game room here. Which direction? Few cars down there. You'll see signs. Go upstairs. I think that's the area where the smoking section is too. Oh, I'm not very big onto smoking. It's okay. It's well aerated. Lots of ventilation. And with that, Pip will will stand up and say, well, Gimmick, why don't you follow us and let's do some exploring.
Yes, ma'am. And he will go.
All right. So Pip will start to walk back towards the bar. But before we get to the bar, Kiwi. What I'm gonna say is that back at the bar, Nathan, you were talking with the male Turian. Dia was talking to the Vorcha. During that time, Jules stepped out and left the bar. You're not sure where he went, but at the moment he left the bar to go somewhere towards the dance area. But I'm gonna say that Vito, you will leave the bathroom, and where do you go? So you're gonna see signs from the bathroom that's, pointing back to the dance area and the lounge and the poker area. There's a sign that tells you that you can go upstairs to the gaming area. And then there's a sign that says further down towards the back of the train is the suites and storage. Suites and basically the baggage car and storage car. So, where would you like to go from here?
Vito will probably go back to the bar and hope really hard that Jules isn't there anymore.
Yeah. So go ahead and move yourself to the bar. The dance floor is still going, is still lively. Mother Hen is right now working the crowd, and everybody's having a great time. It's really, really wild and active, and very crowded. But you get to the bar. It's much quieter at the bar. This is a much more casual setting. I would say the lounge is like the chillest part of the train. The poker area is slightly more rowdy, but not nearly as rowdy as the dance area is, of course. But you're gonna see that Jules is not there anymore, and you see that your husband is sitting next to a very strapping, handsome young man.
Ooh, the drama.
I mean, I assume Vito would recognize him.
Yes, I would say that Vito would recognize Nathan as this very, very well-renowned Fraya'Del player.
Okay. Vito's going to walk closer, put his shoulders on Solaric's, not his shoulders, his hands on Solaric's shoulders, and just go, okay, crisis averted.
Are you feeling better?
Yes, he kind of looks at Nathan.
Nathan is probably waiting to get his drinks because he's ordered 2 drinks. He's ordered a...
Yeah, I'm gonna say that the Vorcha by this point definitely has given you your drinks now.
Yeah, he ordered a virgin Planter's Punch for Pip, and for himself he ordered a Brooklyn.
Yeah, you'll have them both by this time. And to continue the conversation, he will turn back to Nathan and says, "Oh, I actually don't think I ever got your name. What was your name?"
I didn't tell you because you were trying to guess who I was.
Oh, yes. Do you have a guess as to what somebody like him could be doing for a living? I mean, I guessed glorified construction worker. That wasn't it.
You also said escort, but we won't go there.
I assumed maybe. I mean, he's dressed up for the part.
Hey, I like my suit, and he gives his bow tie a little bit of a check.
Vito's just going to chuckle. Oh, I wouldn't quite know.
Guess no one's getting any free drinks then.
And Dia, this is all happening right next to you, just so you know. So you can definitely just eavesdrop or... ignore it completely. It's up to you.
Dia's probably going to look at the conversation. In her mind, she's seeing like a cucking situation, so she's not going to be a part of that. So she's going to be like, she's going to be downing drinks fast. Every time one pops down, gulp. One down, gulp.
Okay.
And
roll a con. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll roll a con save.
Roll a con save, please.
Oh, boy.
As you. All right. You're holding up. Okay. You're holding up. So you're a Turian, so you're not that much of a lightweight. But you believe that if you continue at this rate, you will probably getting tipsy eventually. But right now, you're fine. Right now. But you can probably say that you're reaching the point where you're gonna start feeling it.
Okay. She's always feeling
Nathan,
it, so.
Nathan's going to hand off the planter's punch to Pip when she comes over and says, here's the drink.
Pip will say, "Oh, thank you. What exactly is this?" She says, looking at it.
And he actually knows off the top of his head because he's a bit of a mixologist. He likes his alcohol, of course. It's a spiced dark rum, lime and lemon, and a bit of syrup.
She looks at it, and it's actually relatively vibrantly colorful. And Pip says, "This is a very colorful drink.
But there's no actual alcohol in it because it's virgin. We don't want her getting drunk."
Right. Yes. She says, "This is a very colorful drink." And then she gives it a sniff. Smells good too. And the Vorcha calls out, "I hope so. I take very special care crafting the virgin drinks. Make sure that it's just as satisfying as the hard ones."
Nathan just kind of shrugs. Like, he wasn't really interested. He's not interested in getting her drunk, so if she wants to buy an alcoholic drink, he wants that. So.
Okay. Gimmick, I'm assuming you're right behind. I'm assuming.
Gimmick is just following right now because Pip told him to try to stay like low profile. So.
Sure. All right. So you're just hanging out.
So question.
But I'm.
So we're all at the bar right now.
You're all at the bar right now.
Okay.
All four of you.
Ooh.
Hey.
Ooh, you're all in the same room.
What do you know? And the work hasn't ended yet. It's a miracle.
Give it 5 minutes.
Roll a perception, Dia.
Oh shit! I told you. Give it 5 minutes.
Yeah, you get 5 minutes.
Perception. Here we go.
Okay. You haven't quite put two and two together, but I'm gonna say that. Roll a history as well. In addition to that, roll a history and tell me the value, please.
Okay, ducks. He's sorry. 13.
Oh. 13? Okay. So I'm gonna say that with a 13, you will recognize Nathan, who Nathan is a Fraya'Del player. And I'm gonna say that even though you've seen him before, like just offhand, I don't know how much you follow sports or Fraya'Del, but you didn't really think about it at first, but now that he's sitting there across from you like that, you can't help but feel like he seems familiar to you beyond seeing him on TV. Something about him feels familiar, but you haven't quite put your finger on it yet, why he seems familiar.
Nathan's going to turn to Celerix and say, "So, to give you a hint, I work for a league."
No. As he finishes that, Dia has an empty glass in her hand and she points it towards Nathan's direction. She's gonna say, "Hon, I know what your name is."
We have a winner, I guess.
What?
The other two turned. Well, the Turian turns towards your direction. The other Turian.
And Dia is gonna say, "I'm already getting all the alcohol I want. So, what else are you gonna offer me for naming you?"
A dance, maybe? I don't know. What do you want? I don't.
Sure, good enough. Nathan Callaghan.
Close. It's Callahan, but yeah, I'll give it to you.
Close enough. And does the Vorcha add another drink onto the? Hand another drink to me.
Yeah, yeah.
She grabs.
Is this the same drink or is this different drinks by this point?
Dia doesn't care.
Okay.
She's just drinking whatever she gets handed. She's not being.
All right.
So she's probably has some random drink in her hand, and she's like,
Sure.
"So, want to head out?"
I guess so. And he will give Solarix a handshake and same with Vito and say, I hope you two enjoy your night. Have a good New Year. I'm sure I'll see you around.
You as well.
Pip, if you ever need to find me, here's my number, and he'll give her his details because he's technically looking after her, I guess. So he will.
Oh, well, thank you. We were just about to go into the gaming area. Would any of you like to join us, or are you just gonna go off and do your own thing? It's all right either way.
Well, I owe this lady, and he points at the a dance. So once that's done, I might head it that way too.
The gaming room. That sounds like fun. I didn't know there was a gaming room in this train. Oh yes, I just heard about it. I think it's in that direction upstairs. The male Turian turns to Vito and says, "Would you be interested in checking it out?"
I'd love to. But really, Solaric? Nathan Callahan is like the first on that one list. You remember the list, right? The list of people I'd be very, very fine in us having something.
Nathan is just slowly walking.
Are you saying that in front of him? In front of him, or when he
He's just looking at the two of you like, the list of what exactly?
I'm gonna say that the Turian will blush a little bit.
Oh.
Spicy.
Number one in the list, and you didn't even recognize him.
I thought it was just hypothetical. By this point, the bartender glances towards her direction, and she seems very interested in where this is going.
Nathan is just watching
very...
these two, and he's like, "Could you pour me another drink?" And he slides a black and a carbon fiber and chrome credit chip across the table. It's like,
Pip is completely oblivious to what's happening.
He's like,
I don't
some alcohol, please. And this time he'll order like a whiskey sour.
Sure, you can do that. And while it's getting mixed. Gimmick, what are you doing while while all this is going on?
Well, Gimmick is trying not to look all over the place because it's full of technology and things that you never saw. But yeah, it's turning around and taking pictures and yeah.
Okay, taking pictures, recording,
yeah.
Voice recordings,
yeah,
for later.
It's taking a lot of attention to the things the other people are doing in the room.
Okay. All right. Continue your conversation. Go ahead.
Yeah, he will sooner or later. Like if Dia whenever Dia says, "All right, we're gonna have to go," he'll go with Dia. So he's waiting for her.
Dia is gonna say to him, "Take your time, honey. I'm in no rush."
I mean, we're going nowhere then. So.
Okay, then let's go. Sorry, hon. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. She just takes a sip of her drink, then drops it on the table